Well, today we definitely want to talk about transition into greatness. Have you just been hanging out in the good space? Have you just been hanging out in the okay space? You know what? We want to actually talk about transitioning into greatness here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia. We're excited to have you here with us, streaming all over the World Wide Web. Certainly those that are coming in from Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Sharvette.com, Twitch, and those that are listening later to our podcast version. We're so excited that you're here, and to our radio show version. You are here for episode 747, and we're excited to have our guest who's hanging out in the virtual green room. Crystal Sauls is with us, and our topic is transition into greatness. We're going to get into this right after a quick intro. Do not move. You're listening to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.
Whoa. Why y'all so happy?
You don't know? Sharvette Mitchell is on the radio.
It's time to get motivated, excited, and influenced. Why? It's the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, live from Richmond, Virginia. And now, here to motivate, excite, and influence you, Sharvette Mitchell.
Well, hello, everyone. And again, thank you so much for being here live on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Listen, YouTube is cranked up. My cousin's over there. Hey, Roberto, coming all the way on in, and Maryland joining us in from New York. We are excited to have you here because, you know, the goal of this show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And we know that today's guest is going to do just that. So I invite you to share this broadcast out, and a special greeting and welcome to those over on Instagram who are joining us. You know, normally Instagram is not actually live, but Instagram is live today. And so we're excited to have our Instagram listeners and viewers, and certainly those that are always with us. We appreciate you. If you are watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't lose or miss any of the juicy nuggets that we're going to be sharing and talking about today. Again, with our topic here on episode 747, transition into greatness. You know what? I think this is such a great conversation to have during this period in time. We're in October. October is swiftly fleeing through our hands. We'll have November, and you all know, after Thanksgiving, it feels like the year has zoomed by. However, you still have time to think about what greatness and what transition maybe looks like for you. So let me go ahead and introduce our guest who's hanging out in the virtual green room, ready and willing to come up to the mic. Crystal Sauls is with us. She fell in love with the idea of writing books years ago and continues to love the art of it. Today, she is a published writer. She is a business owner, and in between the multitude of demands of adult life, she also does some singing. So, you know, some of you might be here, might be familiar with her because of her singing talent, but she pulls together and pulls really on her strength and motivation and courage. She pulls all of that from God with expectations of greatness, and she has a newfound mercy each and every single day. And when she has a free moment, she enjoys reading, learning about marketing, music, foreign languages, cooking, and more. We're excited to have Crystal Sauls with us. Again, published writer, new book, or a book that's available, Transition. And she is also the CEO of Sauls International. Put your hands together and welcome live on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, Crystal. Hey, Crystal, how are you?
Awesome, Sharvette. How are you?
Listen, we are doing well. We are so excited. Look, the audience is clapping. And welcoming you here. And so I love to go ahead and jump right on in. And so you and I we've been connected for like years and kind of reconnected. Shout out to MBL, Women Who Mean Business conference. We were both there and just like, hey girl, hey, so good to see you. And so certainly you have, you know, had a long journey up to this point, done a lot of different things, but what was the first kind of thing that inspired you to start writing?
So, you know, over the years, I would go to different business events and people, you know, the keynote speakers would be like, you know, everybody has a story. You have something to share. it could be a family story, a business journey, a journey from a sickness, but you all have something to share, and you should share it with the world in a book format to start. And then, everything else, podcasts, coaching, all that kind of stuff, seminars, workshops. But I was like, I got something to share. It took me a couple of years. I was like, I don't know exactly what it is. I got something, and I was like, well, if it's going to inspire people, then I want to write it. I just don't want to be talking about something to be talking, to have something, I wrote a book and it's about, it has to somebody.
Yeah. It's inspire somebody. And so can you give us like a sense of what it was like to write really deeply personal narratives in your book Transitions? Because you really go deep. So what was that like?
Honey, let me tell you, I was crying. I was crying writing it. I was snotting. I was grabbing tissues. But it was therapy and healing. And I was like, why am I doing this? Because my first book that I wrote was Marketing Is. And it was in my phone and the phone crashed and I never got that information out. It's going to be good.
Oh, my.
And let me start again. That was 2019. And then 2021, I was like, I got to write something. But the journey was healing and it was therapy. And I felt like it was necessary. I felt like it was time.
Yeah. And so your book shares really a powerful series of events and reflections. And, so how did you decide which parts of my life do I want to include? What do I want to leave out, leave in, protect the innocent or not so innocent? How did you decide that?
Honey, you answered it. First of all, we don't have to say everything that we have done.
Yeah.
It's like testimony service. I testify. I just want to give honor to God, and I'm not going to say what I did, but I thank Him for.
Yeah.
But I just felt like it was necessary to cover things that would help anybody, male, female, any nationality, whatever. And not to bash me. I didn't want the content in the book to bash me or be extra hard on me or to bash anyone else that I dealt with specifics, but what's in the book is something that people can, relate to and be like, hey, this did happen to me when I was, such and such. So, making it relatable. And that she was talking about such and such.
Uh-huh.
That's not going to be in anything I write. Yeah. So, that was, I was cautiously thinking about that when I was writing the books, like, should I say this detail, crying all at the same time? No, but I can say this part. So
that's how that came about. And so the title Transition, certainly welcome to those that are all joining us here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, episode 747. The topic is Transition into Greatness. And so the title of Crystal's book is Transition. How did you come up with the title?
So, to be honest, I was in a church service a couple years before that. And the message was really good. It was at a guest church. And they had a specific prayer for me. And the word transition came up without a lot of detail. And I was like, So 2 years later, I was like, what can I title this? So it's not so relationship-y, you know what I'm saying? I was like, this is great. But then, people was like, well, transition is a little bit too vague or too bland or too big. So I had the subtitle, going from a good life to a great life. So it was something inspired that I heard. And I'm like, it's transformation, but it is transition. This is good. That's how I came up with the title. It was definitely spiritually inspired.
Ah, wonderful. And so you so graciously have an excerpt of chapter 7 over on your website, which takes place during the pandemic. So certainly, a time for change, pivoting, a lot of different transitions for a lot of us. And so how did that period of time, definitely, during the pandemic, how did that shape your spirituality and your relationship with God?
So what I realized is that all of us in the world were going through the same thing at the same time. So for us that are churchgoers, no matter what your religion is, most of the churches were shut down. So you could not rely on the spirituality of a pastor, the music department singing your favorite song or your favorite musician doing something. So it's like you were at home. The instructions were to stay at home. not to be out and about here in this building at this place because you could catch COVID or whatever. And so I was like, hey, this is some good time to spend some more time with God. So a lot of people I've been around over the years would say you need to tithe your time. Tithing 10% of your first fruit, your income, your check, this and that. But some people say tithe time to God, even if you don't have the money to do. So we have more than enough time to tithe 2 hours and 40 minutes to give to the Lord every day. So I gave a little bit more, and that was an investment into my spirituality. And so that's what, kind of shaped me. Not doing God a favor. This was our reasonable service. You ain't doing nothing special just because you read and pray and fast and sing some songs.
Yeah.
Do your devotion. But it definitely felt like it brought me closer because all the years of, going to church, getting the word, going up for prayer, altar call, prophetic, this and that. We didn't have that. But you need to use what you were taught in your own home, which it starts in your home anyway. But when you really can't go out and you're not pushed to do that, you had to be disciplined in your home. So I feel like I grew spiritually that way at home
as well. Great. And so how would you describe the book Transition, to the viewers and listeners, if they just caught you on the elevator or caught you walking down the hall of the conference and you had the books available and someone said, well, what is this about? What is Transition about? How do you describe this book?
So my summary of transition is my changes from childhood to adulthood, because those are some very important years. A lot of things that happen to people happen when they're young. Yeah. Right. They grow up and they have these adult temper tantrums and all this, and they can't get along with coworkers, family members, a spouse, a child, and you're holding resentment because you've got this thing on the inside of you that you haven't got healed and delivered from. So I would describe my book as, hey, changes from childhood to adulthood, going from a negative life to a good life to a great life, which means you don't have to hold on to anything that's negative because you're being transformed and you're transitioning from one state to another to something greater.
Yeah, that's so good.
That is relatable to anybody, men and women.
Oh, right. That's so good. How can people purchase a copy of the book while they're listening, saying, oh, that sounds like what I need? Listen, book in hand.
Let me tell you, I do speaking engagements. So my little nice book is also a bestseller on Amazon, but I keep them with me as well. So you can go to thetransitionbook.com. You can DM me, message me in Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever, and I will mail you a book, an autograph copy. You can go right to our website.
Grab it right there. And so, and so for those that are saying, okay, I want to see transition in my life. I want to transition from maybe it's mediocre, or maybe it's just, I know that there is more and greatness, however people define greatness for themselves, right? Mm-hmm. What are a couple tips you would give to a listener saying, I'm ready to transition to that next level, to greatness, and whatever that means for my life?
First of all, evaluate yourself. Don't point fingers. Mm-hmm. Don't make up a bunch of excuses. Be real with yourself. And sometimes that means, going on a little weekend or week vacation just to brain dump and just, get a massage or, go see a therapist or do something where you can be at one with yourself and be like, okay, I've got this going on, but I want to feel better about this. But start with you. And then have a plan of action. Write the vision. Make it plain for those who are believers. Those who like Tony Robbins and Simon Sinek, you've got all these different steps to success. You got your coaches and all that. But you have to apply, these applications to your life to transition and write some goals and then actually implement them and surround yourself with people that are like-minded and that can help you in those different areas.
Yeah, that's good. And what do you say to if someone says, well, to me, this is greatness, and then they might have a friend or whoever's like, well, that's not great. I think you could do more. How do we, because that word greatness is very subjective, right? Like that's very, what does that even mean? Talk about that.
So first of all, you're going to have to trim your little friend list down. Because everything that is in your heart and your spirit and your soul is not for your average friend to listen to and hear and get it okay from. A lot of things that are in us, we're born with it or we have a desire to do. And we like to spin ideas off of people, but it's not always necessary.
Yeah.
So stick with your convictions and your belief. You can listen to what they say if they have something valuable, if not, in one ear, out the other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to define greatness, and people's body language, their minds, their mouth, their tone of voice. Listen to all of that when they tell you that, because everybody not excited about you going into greatness because they might have something going on themselves.
Ouch or amen. Ouch or amen. Because oftentimes when we think, and listeners, let us know in the comments, when you hear the word transition, what do you think? But oftentimes that's like a move. That is, I was here, now I'm here. I'm transitioning from one job to the next. I'm transitioning from one living in one state to the next. I'm transitioning out, so if there is a move and there is a big change. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You have to own it. You have to own it. It has to be in your heart. And you got to stick to it, because the obstacles and things are going to come. You can also be in your own way. I mean, life be life, and whatever they say, right? Yeah. But you got to stay on this path to get to greatness. And that's not always you feeling like 100 and excited all the time. It's going to come with the ups and downs, but you're on this path. And I am a firm believer that God will always send someone to share something important.
Yeah.
Something inspirational along the way. And then you back up again.
You back up. I call it breadcrumbs, like the Hansel and Gretel breadcrumbs, like I'm going in the right direction. And so I'm certainly also in the book Transition. There's a strong sense of legacy, in your story, especially around your grandfather's mantle of healing. Yeah. And, how has his legacy impacted your journey?
Let me tell you, I only had a few years with my grandfather. I moved from Norfolk, Virginia to Richmond, Virginia. He was a pastor of a church here. And I don't remember a lot of him doing, things in the community like I hear people telling me about. He used to hold his ear, jump off the pulpit, preach, get all the kids on Saturday, load them up in the conversion van, take them to the zoo, to park, ice cream. He did all these great things. But over the years, I have heard people say that people will come in church drunk, they will leave out sober. People come in with sicknesses, they will leave healed. Just recently, the last couple of years, even after the book, people catch wind of my last name and they're like, is your grandfather such and such? Is your uncle this? Do your aunt do it? And so it's all of this. And then I posted something about him being in the military and celebrating him during Black History. And a lot of people chimed in with details about how he was that I didn't know anything about, right? Mm-hmm. So he left a lasting impact, even to the pastor of Trinity Baptist. Like, they used to fellowship together. He was the holiness, but my grandfather fellowship with the Holy Rosary, the Baptist, everybody. It wasn't this denomination over that. And I'm like, that means a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to impose your beliefs on other people. You fellowship, do what you got to do and keep going. And that's what he did. And people, they were so excited about him. And I was excited to hear the story. So I feel like he impacted me, leaving a legacy of inspiring people. So he might have had healing and deliverance and a couple other things, but hopefully I'll leave something, some type of mantle of healing and inspiration as I get older and, transition into glory. But it's been amazing stories. And to still at Christmas Day, 7 a.m., 1989.
Wow.
Stories the last 10, 15 years, even this year.
Of impact. That is impact. Hello, comedian Wendy Lee from Wakanda. Thank you for being here. And she brings up a good point. And I don't know if she was being facetious, but a lot of times you hear transition, you think of the funeral home, because a lot of times people say instead of died, they'll say this person transitioned. I know that I've said that too. So I think transition is just a really powerful word. There is a connotation. What was here is now somewhere, somewhere else. And so this is a good spot to have a quick commercial break, because when we get back, since you brought up church and all this legacy with church, you sing and your music ministry and all that. So we want to hear about that. We want to also hear about your business, Sauls International. So we want to hear more about all of that. So I'm going to let you go back to the virtual green room, and we're going to take a quick commercial break here with Crystal Sauls on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Thank you so much for being here. Here is a quick commercial break, and don't you move. We're going to be right back right after this. Imagine a future where your voice shapes the world. A future where every person can dream bigger and every community thrives. Voting is more than a right. It's a powerful gift. This November, let your heart lead you to the polls. Vote for change. Vote for hope. Vote for a brighter tomorrow. Your voice matters, and together we can create a legacy of love and justice.
Are you a veteran, service member, or family member struggling with loss? Forever Healed offers a free grief and wellness program just for you. Every Thursday, join a supportive community where trained grief specialists guide you through managing loss, from injuries and career changes to personal struggles. These sessions provide a safe space, tools for healing, and the chance to move beyond pain to find renewed purpose. Register today and take that first step towards healing. Learn more at foreverhealed.com.
All right, there you go. Quick commercial break. And just on that last comment, certainly vote, vote, vote. I did early voting yesterday. And so it is your right, your privilege. Let your voice be heard. And Forever Healed, jump over to foreverhealed.com/SOS. If you are a service member, a veteran, a family member of a service member or veteran, you're located in Richmond, Virginia, completely, absolutely free. A grief and loss and wellness group every Thursday. Mitchell Productions, this is a part of one of our social action projects. And so we are glad to be a backing and a supporter around this. And so veterans, service members, and family members, grief or loss, and check out foreverhealed.com/SOS. Personal invitation here for you to be a part of that. Or if you know a veteran or service member, send them there. So thank you. Let's bring our guest back up into the virtual stage here on the virtual couch. Crystal Sauls is coming on back in. And so as mentioned before, Crystal, thank you so much for, talking about transition. I really feel like there are a lot of people that feel like there's something else that needs to be happening in my life. Yeah.
And so back to Wendy Lee's comment, the transition that most people are used to hearing, that can be applicable. I gave the definition earlier of my transition in the subtitle, but the dead thing that's going to be left at the funeral home, and the alive thing is the new you. You are dying to something. That old thing has got to go for you to transition to something great. So you are leaving something behind, but we're not talking about leaving a body. We're talking about leaving that old stuff, that old mindset, that old spirit or whatever is no good, so that you can excel to greatness. That's what's left at the funeral home, and you can
listen
in your backyard.
Stay right there. Like that. That's it right there. That's the nugget of the show. If you're listening, that's the nugget of the show right there. Thank you, Wendy, for prompting that point there. That is the nugget of the meat of, or if you chew, as they say, chew the meat, spit out the bones. That's the nugget there. And that is so perfectly said. So perfectly said. Yeah.
Right there.
Insert. I don't have no shouting music, but you know what? I'm gonna cue some shouting music, and we're gonna insert. That was the nugget there. That was a nugget there. Great. Anything else you want to say? Because listen, you could stay right there. Any more you want to say? There you go.
So, because a lot of people, some people have said that, but there's a subtitle under the word transition. When you get my book, the subtitle is what sums up the changes that you'll see throughout the chapters, which is going from a good life to a great one, right?
Yeah.
So we're not talking about death in the sense of, you're transitioning, you no longer exist. You can't do anything great anymore. We're transitioning into greatness. So everything that wasn't great about you, that's the old you, like the baptism. You go, what I'm saying? You leave the wet devil down, what the old people say, and come up we're not coming up a new devil. We ain't got no devils in us. The old whatever, what I'm saying? However you want to take it.
Right.
That's something, that transition. But the point is that you're brand new now. That old you was gone. You start looking different, acting different, thinking different. So you're not even the same person no more.
Yeah. Yeah. So good. So good. So listen, what role did music play in your healing, your spiritual journey, all of that?
Let me tell you. So, we come from a musical family, musical church family. everybody's church has got somebody that do music.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's gospel, jazz, R&B, whatever, classical. So I would actually pick a song, maybe a praise break song or worship, whatever my spirit felt. And I would just play that on YouTube and loop it to feel better. Right? Start with that. That's just in my own vehicle or at home. And then and this is over the years, right? And then it could be a song that someone sung at church, or my favorite musician going to hear him or her play, an instrument. And it would bring healing to me, or to hear a certain person sing a song. So it's a mixture of different places, at home or at a service, or at a car. But something really significant that happened during the pandemic is that at least 9 months out of the year, the word "all right" came up in my ear some kind of way, whether it was a light right in the car and there's a song that got "all right" in it. I did a service and somebody, they do an altar call for like an hour, and then they change into making up a song that got "all right" in it.
Yeah.
So, hey, that's for you. Or, you know what I'm saying? It was always that. So music was always there to help uplift me. And now on the musical side of me, songs would drop in my spirit. So I play the keyboard a little bit. I have what they call a joyful noise. Annoying anything else I do, right? So I would sit and sing and play a song for hours, like the end of 2021. I would sit and play and sing, even if it was a key that I couldn't sing and play in well. I made that joyful noise in the privacy of my own home for a couple of hours till I felt relieved.
Yeah.
That's and good. It healed. That was healing for me, like the Saul David, scenario for those who relate that, So
wonderful. There it is. And so as a business owner, so Sauls International, tell us about that venture and what you do with Sauls International.
So Sauls International is primarily a language services company. So we provide like translation, interpretation. So you're dealing with all types of languages: French, Spanish, German, Portuguese. We translate marketing material, send out interpreters for hospitals or conferences, events, sign language.
Wonderful.
So that's the history. And then we added a consulting piece to that maybe 6 years ago, because I would go to conferences and events and people would pull me to the side and say, "Hey, can you tell me about this and that and that? And I've got this and that going on," chit chatting.
Yeah.
Sessions. And so long story short, end up giving people advice that helped them. And they would call weeks or months later with a testimony of how they saved a 6 or 7 figure contract, or, the boss changed their mind with, putting the wrong numbers together, losing, contracts and stuff. And so we decided to add consulting to the business. And so that was a huge pivot for us during the pandemic. Yeah. So that's primarily more of what we're doing on just, project management, strategic planning, marketing, program management, that type of thing. And just, have built a team over the years. So
yeah, wonderful. SaulsInternational.com. I know you're stepping in those government contracting waters, aren't you? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. All right, good. Listen, shout out to Brandy over on Instagram. She said, "Preach, sis, preach." Welcome to those on Instagram. This is a new live platform, is Instagram, because they are now playing in the waters with StreamYard. So we're glad to have our Instagram viewers and listeners joining us here. And so, any final words, for those in particular listeners that may be struggling with their purpose, and again, this transition, or even struggling with going back to your point of something dies or is ending for you to get into this transition to greatness. So something, and so sometimes there is a pull, there is a struggle of, I know this relationship, this whatever has to end for me to move into greatness. How do you help that person who's struggling with that piece, that in between the transition and the greatness?
I'm going to tell you the truth. I would stand in the mirror. This is something that's real life application that I've done myself. I encourage you to go stand in a mirror, maybe in the bathroom when everybody's asleep or nobody's there, because you might start crying. Look yourself in the mirror and call out whatever it is that's bothering you. and then speak against it. I am not such and such. I am not such, whatever it is, and say, I am a queen. I am a king. I am healed. My business is blessed. My family is healed. This is not going to bother me anymore. I am not hurt behind. And you keep doing that for a couple months, you're going to start feeling different.
Yeah.
The old dead way of thinking and feeling going to be gone. I'm serious. You might be sniffling and crying and going through all the toilet tissue, but you're going to feel better. And then you start your application of, how am I going to fill this void that was there, to feeling better? So you got to get that right circle. Like I said, get you a good book, go to a good service, hear some good music, go pamper yourself, and don't listen to negative. Don't keep negativity in your ear. You can't have everybody around you in your ear that's not being positive.
Right.
This transition of leaving the old stuff behind and making sure that's dead, it's for a reason. You've got to have something to bring life to your spirit, your soul, your mind, your heart. Go to some conferences. They don't have to be church conferences. Go to some business summits like we were at. Some different thing. Go on a cruise. You gotta fulfill yourself with something, and then you gotta follow all your goals through. Don't feel like you're too old, or you're too far behind that you can't reach your goals and excel. Because the opportunities come back around again.
Absolutely, they do. Absolutely, they do. And I'm so excited because I'm 9 days away from hosting my 8th conference. So we'll be November 8th and 9th here in Richmond, Virginia. I know you were already booked, but the Platform Builder Summit. And absolutely, I'm a early adopter of social media and all that, but there is nothing that replaces in-person connection, networking. Yes, we're going to be talking about marketing. We're going to be talking about grants. We're going to be talking about government contracting. We're going to be talking about branding and all of that. However, and in addition to the professional development and the collaborations, matter of fact, our theme is collaborations and pivots.
Right.
And so that collaboration and that networking, because your next connect for whatever it is, as you transition to greatness, may be at a conference or an event. So I'm glad that you said that. Girl, our time is up. Our time is up. Thank you, comedian Wendy Lee. Good stuff. Gotta go replace the dead thing with something. There you go. That's good. That's good right there. Thank you, Yolanda Hall, for the saying the grief group commercial. Thank you for sharing that information out. Crystal, it has been a blast. The last question, the goal of the show, we always want to just continue to motivate and excite and influence our listeners. What continues to motivate you?
You know what? Good people. Let me tell you, there's some good people still left in the world, no matter what we see on the news.
Yeah.
Great people, service dogs, regular dogs, babies, twins.
Yeah.
A nun, a good neighbor. Those are somebody that's got something inspirational to say, a hug.
Yeah.
I will be in a store sometimes and kids will come and hug me and look up to their mommy and dad and say, I love her. And, anything somebody does positive, you need to embrace that because they don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Church is good. Your family reunions, a concert, all those things are good, but embrace what's around you that's already good because there's some greatness right around you.
There you go. There you go. How can people follow you on social media?
Facebook and Instagram, Crystal Sauls, TikTok, Crystal Sauls, LinkedIn, Crystal Sauls, and the same platforms, Sauls International.
All right, there you go. Well, thank you so much for stopping by the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. And we wish you much more continued success.
Thank you, Sharvette.
You're welcome. All right. I am telling you, it is a wrap for today. Thank you so much for being here with us on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, watching live, or even if you're coming back and you're checking us out later on any of our video platforms, make a comment. We'd love to just show you some love. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. We don't want you to miss any of the juicy segments that we have coming up for you. If you listen by way of podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, any of that, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. It won't hurt anything. And go ahead and leave us a good review as well. It's going to be a wrap. Again, for if you know a veteran, a service member, or a family member of a veteran or service member that is located in Richmond, Virginia, send them over to foreverhealed.com/SOS. Or if you can't remember, just Forever Healed, and let them connect in particular if there's any kind of loss or grief they've experienced. There's an amazing free grief group meeting every Thursday here in my office building, 2807 North Parham Road, foreverhealed.com/SOS. And this is a part of our community, our social action that we are backing, the Mitchell Productions team. And so thank you so much for being here. It is a wrap. We'll see you all later on the web. Bye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Catch Sharvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m., interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.